the toss. They chose to receive. And we shall see if Gabriel Wosu gives a chance to Caden Weegan, #1 in the nation in combined kick return yards. A lot of anticipation for this one. Here we go. Nittany Lions and the Hawkeyes. Hawks will begin at the 25-yard line. Right next to him, Kamari Moulton. For Kirk Ferentz, he expects to play 3 running backs tonight. Look for Moulton to get the most carries. And there he is off the right side. Penn State's defense makes sure there's not much there.
Really good, solid offensive line up front, Paul, for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Very consistent. It's almost like they've had the same group for the last 30 years.
4 wideouts to the right. That might be a backward pass. They tried to get it to Weegan. He couldn't hang on. From the pocket, over the middle, dropped and picked off.
Great play.
Intercepted. Zachy Wheatley comes up with a deflection. Zion Tracy batted the ball in the air.
What a play by Zachy Wheatley. Oh my goodness. This kid is always around the football. Oftentimes you're seeing him making the big tackles. You see Zion Tracy right there, who's a long corner, getting his hand in there. I don't know if he tipped the ball or not, but Zachy with a one-handed interception. Big time play from this Nittany Lion defense early in this ball game. Wow.
Jim Knowles telling us the 2 things they had not been doing, getting off the field and getting turnovers in one play. They produced both. They set up the offense 1st and 10 on the 35.
Paul, we talked on the way over here. The first 5 to 7 minutes for this Nittany Lion football team is going to be vitally important. Right now, they're up for the challenge.
First snap on the road Ethan Grunkemeyer has ever taken at Penn State. Gives to Katron Allen, not much off the right side. Tracked down from the back. His first pass is a short one to a tight end. Out to the 30-yard line, Luke Reynolds with his first catch. Gets him closer to a first with a gain of 5. Penn State offense puts an experienced group around Grunkemeyer. The running game for the 2nd week in a row will be built around Katron Allen.
Yeah, Katron Allen, this kid has tremendous set of eyes and vision at the running back position. Nicholas Singleton, the other change-up type back, he was getting a lot more carries. Katron has been the more productive back. They tend on featuring Katron tonight.
First tough situation for Grunkemeyer. 3rd and 5 from the Iowa 30. Allen cuts it back and won't get there. Got stuffed right when he tried to cut it back. Iowa's leading tackler Carson Shire. And decision time now. Just got it off. Here comes a blitz. Grunkemeyer. Well, he got there. In his first start, makes a big play with his feet. Just inside the 20. Gain of 10.
That's the movement skills you get from Ethan Grunkemeyer right here. Great job by Ethan recognizing the blitz, putting his head down and just figuring out a way to get through and get the first down. Would like to see him slide right there and not take the big hit, but there's the swag that his teammates talked about during the week. Great job by Ethan Grunkemeyer.
And we asked him during the week what we might recognize as different. He said, I'm going to be more elusive in the pocket than Drew. Showed up right away. Back to the ground game. Boy, that's a strong finish for Katron Allen. Running with authority, ran over Entringer, gain 7.
Jackson Smollett into the game.
A new quarterback, Jackson Smollett, who was in a battle for the starting quarterback position, for the backup position, lost out. He gets a carry down to the 10-yard line. He'll try it through the air. Looking over the middle. Can't connect with Kyron Hudson. Smollett back in at quarterback, runs the option, pitch to Pena inside the 5, and he's down inside the 1. Keeps it, batted in the air, incomplete.
Trying to give his team a chance and a spark.
Play clock down to 3. Katron Allen behind him, got a hustle. Got it off, up the middle. Didn't get there. And the flag is down. Xavier Wampa, the safety, with the ball. Herkett came in to make the play, but a flag came down right before the handoff.
Let's see what that was.
Offside. Before the defense lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties half the distance to the goal, and it's still 4th down.
Check out that play clock, having to negotiate the time. That could become an issue here on the road.
Allen, late surge, got there. Touchdown, Penn State. Touchdown in each game. Barker's extra points, up and in. Weegan will once again not get a chance to bring it out. Iowa offense begins from the 25. Gronowski quickly with a blocker and a cutback. First down, Hawkeyes. The old school I formation for the Hawks off the right side. Breaking tackles and getting out to the 46. Just like last week, Mike, they're breaking tackles and falling forward early. Good job by the young tight end, DJ Vanami, as well, leading the way. Come right back to that side. First down, and now inside of Penn State territory. Picks up 8, and they look good right there. They found something with the ground game here. More space to go. And didn't quite get a first down, but he did get inside the 40. Another gain of 8. King Mack made the stop.
Finishing the run going forward. Good run.
Run game arriving tonight with some confidence after a Big Ten best 210 yards rushing last week at Camp Randall. Right back to it. More space and a big run. Kamari Moulton has it going early. Hard to go away from that.
Absolutely. Why throw it?
Xavier Williams, the new back. Play action. Drifting. Gronowski. And just fired that one away.
Got the interception early in the game. He just made that tackle right there. This game is going to be told in the trenches, though, looking at those Penn State defensive tackles.
There's the freshman Xavier Williams. He was part of the Running Express last weekend. Picks up 4, playing in his first Big Ten game here at home. Third down now. Gronowski to the sideline. Too tall. And he wanted Reese Vanderzee, playing for only the 2nd time this season. Stevens was 3 out of 3 last week at Wisconsin. This from 39 yards out. Snap hold, plenty of leg, and that is right down the middle. And he ties Nate Kading most field goals all time here in Iowa history. Drew Stevens just kicked a 39-yard field goal. Short kick will be returned. Oh, it was muffed. Picks up at the 11. And Penn State will begin 90 yards away. Cam Wallace had a hard time with that one. 90 yards away, but it's Jackson Smolik in. The 2 quarterbacks have been rotating. And Penn State starts out with success on the ground. A blue-collar run between the hashes for 8 yards. That's Katron Allen doing what he does.
Yeah, I like what Andy Kotelnicki did right there. See, the first drive, what he did was he set you up, right? He put Jackson Smolik in there a few times. He kept the ball a few times to let this Iowa defense know that he will run the football. He will keep it. Second drive, you put him in there and you hand the ball off to Katron Allen. Great job, Andy Kotelnicki.
Bit of a homecoming for Smolik as well from Des Moines Catholic High School, a couple hours away here in Iowa. Play action, setting up. Did a nice job of keeping it, but gets drilled from the backside. On 3rd and 2. Option. Smolik didn't get there. Hawkeye front 7 strung that one out. Showing a pace, makes the play. Brunkmeyer was in at wide receiver, by the way. Wosu punt. Weegan from the 40.
He got some space, Paul.
He's got room. And here he goes. Big return for Weegan inside the Penn State 40.
This place is electric. That's what the kid, Caden Weegan, gives.
They told us anytime they actually kick or punt the ball to Weege, it's like an extra offensive play. Sets up the offense on the 35. Flag flies, Moulton, and whistles blow just as he went down.
Ball start. 88 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Gronowski, well protected, corner, overshot Phillips.
See him right there setting up late.
Gronowski off to a tough start. That makes him 2 out of 7. Seth Anderson, good spin move, but the Nittany Lions were there. Good pursuit keeps that to a gain of 2. Drew Stevens has made 6 consecutive field goals from outside of 50 yards if they go that route. Bouncing, looking, middle shot, connects. At the 28, diving grab by Vanderzee, but it's 3 yards short of the first down. Stevens 1 for 1 tonight, connected from 39 yards out. And he pushed that one, just missed it to the right.
They're trying to empty the clip. That means go all out, leave nothing on the field.
Nicholas Singleton, he has seen Katron Allen get most of the carries these last couple of games. He picks up 2, and that'll likely be, unless they hustle up here, the final play of this first quarter. And they are going to get right back on the ball. Even Grunkmeyer, first start and sharing time with Jackson Smolik.
Looks like they may just go in and end the quarter. I think when you think about the alumni base and the guys that I've talked to, former players that I've talked to all week, I think we were a little intrigued or upset by the timing of the decision, but truly understand that we want to be considered one of the elite programs.
Bruckmeyer wanted Trevor Pena over the middle. They were not on the same page, and it sets up 3rd down and 8.
They came to Penn State to play great football, and great football is still an opportunity ahead of them.
As for what's happening right now, neither team has converted on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 8. Blitz. Bruckmeyer dancing, and threw that one away. Now, was that grounding? We've got a little conversation on the officials now. There it is. Flag comes out.
Intentional grounding. Penalty offense. Penalty is a loss of down at the spot. 4th down.
And make a confident throw. That's the inexperience of Ethan showing up.
Wosu to Weege, he just took one back, 26 yards. Fair catch that time. Made on the 34-yard line, and that's where the Hawkeyes will begin. Down to Penn State, 7-3. This is on us, and we got to go out and play with that kind of momentum. Off to the right side, nothing there. Nittany Lions in the backfield. Puts Iowa in a hole here. 2nd down, 13. Moulton the tailback. He goes up the middle, not much there. Back-to-back plays. The front 7 for the Nittany Lions step up. Iowa had been averaging nearly 8 yards per carry until this drive. 3rd down, 11. Set up a screen. Moulton drilled right when he caught the ball. DeJuan Lane from his safety spot. That was Xavier Williams. Didn't have a chance there. Great play by the safety. And what a series of downs there for the Nittany Lion defense. Now they blocked a punt in each of the last 2 weeks. Good protection that time. And a fair catch by Ross. What a punt that was, just inside the 10-yard line. On top of the Hawkeyes, 7-3. And with Katron Allen next to him. Allen finds a face off the right side out to the 15-yard line for more of the relationship between Bruckmeyer and McSorley. Here's Caroline.
Well, Paul, McSorley has been impressed with how Ethan has handled himself this week, saying the only thing that has changed is his amount of reps. This is the challenging environment for Grunkemeyer's first start. McSorley told me this was the loudest place he played in either college or the NFL. He said the noise is not just a factor when you're on the field, but also when you're trying to make adjustments on the sidelines. And guys, I can confirm it is very loud down here, but that sideline communication so far has not seemed to be an issue.
Caroline, thank you. New quarterback again. Jackson Smolik off the left side goes Allen. And that'll set up third down and short. We also talked to Trace McSorley yesterday before meeting with the coaches, and he said, boy, the fans are right on top of you here in Kinnick, and they don't mind talking to you in the game.
No, they don't mind talking to you. I can't concur with that, Paul. When you were playing in this stadium, you know, you wasn't hearing some of the language because you were the home quarterback. But as the away quarterback, yeah, you hear a lot. I think I had my helmet taken one year. The fans are close, but you gotta love this atmosphere. You see Ethan Grunkemeyer right here making his first start. The goal is to get a first down, though. Let's see what Andy Gronowski has in store.
On the move, tosses right on the money to Devontae Ross. Picks up 4 and moves the chains.
Yeah.
You see what Devontae Ross did when he played for Troy last year here in Kinnick, crushed the Hawkeyes for over 100 yards receiving. Grunkemeyer, long throw, and again he puts it right there. Trevor Pena from Syracuse to Penn State hauls that one in, picks up 12. Got it back together now already with 2 first downs on this drive. Allen, not a lot there. Picks up maybe 1. Grunkemeyer avoids trouble. Boy, that was a tough throw and put it right there. Penn State already with 3 first downs on this drive. Allen hasn't found a lot. Give him 3 there. Second down, quick toss. And they get out close to a first down. Luke Reynolds, the tight end. Grunkemeyer on this drive, a perfect 4 out of 4. And this is 3rd and 3. Little pitch inside, and that works for a first. Good call, Andy Gronowski. Late flag flies after a 7-yard gain and a first.
Yeah, I think that might be hit to the head right there. See T.J. Hall and Katron Allen getting after it.
Personal foul. Targeting. 91 of the defense. This penalty is being reviewed.
All right, that calls against defensive tackle Jonah Pace. And we'll see where he comes in here as we'll get ready to bring in Reggie Smith. And
yeah, this is going to be awfully
After
hard.
reviewing the play, there is no targeting. Number 91 remaining in the game. The result of the play is a first down.
They have to continue to distribute the ball all over the field. Again, screens, wide receiver screens, draws, whatever the case may be.
Or toss to the sideline. Hudson. That ball is out of bounds. Empty backfield. Quickly to the sideline. Caught. Not much of a run. A completion for a loss of yardage. As time. Play clock now at 5. 4-man rush. Back to the sideline. Nobody home. A diving effort, but well out of bounds.
That was close, Paul. He dragged his feet. That was close.
After reviewing the play, it determined that the defender's right foot was on the ground when he maintained possession of the catch. It is an interception. 1st and 10 for Iowa.
Gronowski standing in his own end zone with the handoff, and stood up right away is Nathan McNeil. True freshman, and this Penn State defense has been awfully good here. No gain.
Okay, Dom DeLuca, I see you. See Dom right there on the tackle. One of the captains of this Nittany Lion defense.
They go right back to that side. A little bit more this time. Good finish at the end out near the 10-yard line. Picks up 4, but now Gronowski is in a tough spot of his own, facing 3rd down deep inside his own territory. Gronowski, 4-man rush, stepping up, jump pass, and a spin move, got it done. Xavier Williams, fancy feet, 11 yards.
Good job by Xavier Williams right here. First of all, being a running back, just catching the football while your quarterback was in a little bit of trouble. You catch the football, then you make a guy miss and get the yards to make the first down. That is a championship level play.
And quickly out to the right side. Penn State all over that one out to the 22-yard line. Caden Weegan stopped by Kenny Wosley.
But that's one thing that stuck out on tape. Guys just being hesitant at the point of attack.
Jump cut by Moulton, got him some extra yards. And that'll be just enough for a first down. So Knowles had all kinds of success last year for the national championship team, the Ohio State Buckeyes. But in year one at Penn State, you can see he often needs that second and third year for his system to really kick in.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about this Jim Knowles defensive playbook. It has a lot of volume. They have a lot of adjustments. They have a lot of communication, and it takes years and reps to be able to learn this defense.
Kamari Moulton finds his way out to the 35, muscles for 5 yards. Clock beginning to come into play now, clicking and kicking. 3:17, 3:16. Interim head coach Terry Smith knows all about the defense. Has coached cornerbacks here the last dozen years. And again, small gain inside for 1. Gronowski, 6 out of 11, only 41 yards. 1 out of 5 on third down today. Late blitz. Gronowski keeps it and slides. Where are they going to put him down? About a half yard short. He started that slide too early, and it'll be fourth down.
Yeah, he started that slide just a little bit too early, but we have to remember the injured knee that he injured a few weeks ago against Indiana was that left knee. And when you're running left and you have to put that foot in the ground to plant to go vertical, that's one of those things he may not have felt comfortable with. As you can see right there, him starting to slide a little bit too early.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
So Iowa will punt it away now. 2 minutes left. Devontae Ross backed up once again, still backing up, and lets that one go in the end zone.
I think the whole playbook is open to him because, again, Paul, what do you got to lose?
Shovel pass, incomplete, or was it picked? Iowa believes they picked it off, incomplete.
No, I think that ball hit the ground.
Forward and incomplete, second down.
Grunkemeyer has settled in as he shared that spot quite a bit early on with his backup Jackson Smollett. Singleton got a little bit off of that right side when it comes back to that. Grunkemeyer over the middle, picked off. Xavier Wamba turns the corner, reaches inside the 5.
This is what this Iowa team need. They can score now and get the ball back after halftime.
Grunkemeyer hit low, and he got inside the 1.
Put in a gritty performance last week, gained a lot of respect after playing a little injured versus Wisconsin last week.
Quarterback sneak, got close. Inside the 1. They'll come check. Didn't get there. Yes, he did. The delayed touchdown for the Hawkeyes to put them on top.
Rolling on the field is a touchdown.
Quarterback sneak works right after the interception. And Drew Stevens makes it 10-7 Iowa.
Definitely can respect that. And I had a few rushing touchdowns at quarterback myself.
And Penn State will begin from their own 25. Grunkemeyer begins this drive 7 out of 15, couple of picks. Katron Allen wrapped up just as he got to the line of scrimmage at the end of this half. Toss sweep, Singleton being chased, run out of bounds before he got the first. Gonna pass, in trouble. Fires that one incomplete. Clock stops. Iowa keeps the timeout.
Just no room for Ethan Grunkemeyer to fit that ball in right there. Incomplete pass.
Regent, fair catch late. So Iowa sets up on the 25-yard line. 47 seconds left in that one timeout remaining.
They're not backing up very far.
Gronowski dumps it. And a good tackle there at the 27-yard line.
really good tackle in space.
Inside of 30 seconds now. Gronowski moving to the left. Slides again, late hits, and there's a flag.
That's a tough one right there.
So that's 15 yards chunked up against Dom DeLuca. Huge for Iowa because they marched this ball out.
The personal foul was on number 0 of the defense.
See if this Iowa Hawkeyes offense can get some quick completions, use the sideline. They still have that timeout available, so if they want to throw the football in the middle of the field, if it's an explosive, they can get the yardage to get in field goal range.
Gronowski out of the backfield, now inside of Penn State territory, down to the 48-yard line. Wheatley with a nice tackle. Hawkeyes with no timeouts to the sideline. They go. Dangerous toss. Stevens had it blocked. Penn State picked it up. No score. Elliott Washington for 6. And Penn State steals a late touchdown. Blocks a field goal from 66 yards out. Elliott Washington said, "I'll take that."
This is the end of the first half.
Wow. Terry Smith, the interim head coach, had to love the way his special teams finished that first half. And now we get a look at Ethan Grunkmeyer. Caroline Kirk, thank you. Now we see the Penn State offense go to work. Katron Allen in the back. They fake it to him. Take a shot down the middle. Ross. No flag. Brings up 2nd and 10. And Zach Lutmer was right there on Ross.
I like the shot attempt. I like the attempt by Ethan Grunkmeyer. But look at that defense right there by Zach Lutmer, running stride for stride with the speed demon Devontae Ross. Even with the adjustment to the ball, he was right there stride for stride. That's big-time defense by Zach Lutman.
Now they bring back in Jackson Smolik, the backup quarterback, who came in quite a bit in the first quarter, not a lot in the second. And he hands it off. Big hole for Allen. Katron Allen inside of Iowa territory. He picks up 29.
Really good play design by Andy Kotelnicki right here. Again, this is Nicholas Singleton, right? Taking the defense that way. You got some faking going on that way, and then the ball carrier goes right down the middle of this Iowa Hawkeye defense. Check this out. Watch the double team. See how the offensive line gets to the second level. And this is Katron Allen with his great vision, power, and look how he explodes into the second level. Big time run by the Nittany Lions.
He had 30 total yards in the first half and got 29 right there. Singleton and Allen on the field right now. They hand off inside. Once again, Iowa's defense is there to bottle up Allen and set up a 3rd down and medium.
Changing the plays at the line of scrimmage.
Grunkmeyer looking, firing. They connect. Devontae Ross picks up the first. A fastball and a nice catch there to pick up 11. Keeps it himself. Well, good finish there, but Carson Shire got into the backfield.
If I was the backup guy, I would like it. If I was the starter, I would hate it.
Hands off to Singleton. Got nothing there. Rex Roth finished him off at the 35-yard line. Carson Shire was there first. Loss of 1.
It's a great job by T.J. Hall, screaming off the edge right there at the cornerback position. Just blunting the edge of the box right there. See the tight end. Luke Little's trying to make that block.
Deep down the middle. Flag comes in. 2 flags in. Going to get Iowa there for pass interference. Had the big blitz up the middle, and he got it off just in time.
See the end trigger right there.
Before the defense. 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Big penalty against him allows Penn State to set up 1st and 10 on the 20. Already up 4. Pitch to Allen. Cuts it up. Good way to start that series there, or that set of downs. On 1st down, they pick up 8. Intringer with the stop. Hands off to Allen. He's inside the 10. Two tight ends in the game. Allen cuts it out, scores! Katron Allen from 8 yards out makes it 20-10. Well, what a finish to the first half and what a start to the second half for Penn State. Extra point makes it 21-10, and since the last time Iowa's offense was on the field, special teams scored a touchdown for the Nittany Lions. Wosu, we'll see if Weegan gets to bring this one out. 2 yards deep. Caden Weegan out to the 27-yard line. That's where Mark Gronowski will take over with the Iowa offense.
Great play by Zaki Wheatley.
A lot of good players in the secondary for Penn State, but perhaps number 6 leading the way. Iowa right to the ground. And a gash off the left side just across the 30. Picks up 5 for a Penn State injury update. Here's Caroline.
Yeah, guys, Zariah Fisher appears to be dealing with an injury. He started talking to the athletic training staff in the first half, spent some time on the bike, and then went in early to the locker room for halftime. When he came back out at the start of the second half, he seemed to be in some discomfort. He was limping. He's been bending and stretching his right knee a lot on the sideline. We'll keep you posted as it progresses.
Caroline, thank you. The good news there, Iowa offensive coordinator Tim Lester raving about all the defensive ends that Penn State plays. Caden Weegan, they tried to get it to the edge. Nittany Lions ready to bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, that's that secondary showing up for the Nittany Lions. Again, A.J. Harris right there on the tackle. Oftentimes you see corners, they like to cover people, but oftentimes you don't see corners weren't willing to tackle. You see A.J. Harris right there making a big-time impact tackle.
We approach the halfway point of this 3rd quarter, and Iowa not in a familiar position for them, and that's down double digits in a Big Ten game. They've got a win against Rutgers, lost a close one against Indiana, and then blew out Wisconsin last weekend.
Don't know if the game has gotten to where the Penn State team has kind of talked Iowa out of the run game. Not quite yet.
To the pass here on 3rd and 3. Gronowski keeps and picks up the first, and then some. Big sprint for Mark Gronowski. 1st and 10. Well protected, sideline, he's got some room. Caden Weegan dives out to the 20, about a yard short of the first. Zion Tracy with the stop. Kamari Moulton, 1st down. And look at that finish, muscling his way inside the 10 to set up 1st and goal. Right side again, hesitation, doesn't get him anywhere. Penn State's D-line wins that one, no gain. There he is, cuts it back, inside the 5, almost broke that one. They gain 5 and might now they'll face 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. Keeps it, easily scores, touchdown Iowa.
As Mark Gronowski walks into the end zone, I think they're going for 2, Paul.
Yes, they are. Don't be surprised that Gronowski keeps it himself again. Some kind of run pass option. Trying to make it a 3-point game. End zone off the fingertips. Good one here in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes just scored to make it 21-16. And Penn State has a chance to bring it out here. And they get out just to the 20-yard line. Ran for only 30 yards in the first half. He got 53 on that drive. Bruckmeyer swings it out wide. Iowa defense there. Carson Shire. Boy, that's good find of the finish there by Nicholas Singleton.
Really good fight by Nicholas right there. But Carson Shire, oh my goodness. How many times are we calling this kid's name? He's all over the field, Paul.
Just a program kid for Iowa. Sat and watched, played on special teams, redshirted, waited his turn, and now is easily Iowa's leading tackler. And you often see him sideline to sideline.
Yeah, sideline to sideline. I mean, he had a career-high 10 tackles versus Rutgers this year. 6'2", 235 pounds. Program guy, as you said. But this kid's running around like his hair's on fire.
Up the middle, good fight at the end across the 25-yard line. Andy Kotelnicki will like this third down because of that effort. 7-yard, bring up third down and short.
Third down and short again. We still haven't seen Ethan Brunkmeyer's legs show up here in the second half. If I'm Andy Kotelnicki, I'm putting him in a position where he can run it or he can throw it, possibly a read option, some type of RPO, getting your young quarterback on the edge.
Allen had a season-high 16 carries last week. He's already at 17. Quick toss to the outside. And that's a first down. Just enough. First and 10. Allen, quick feet at the line of scrimmage, and that got him some extra. Picks up 6. He gives to Allen. And Allen won't get there this time. Got about a half a yard to set up another third down and short. Little pump. In trouble. To the sideline, and a nice catch at the 40. It's a yard short. Direct snap. Ball didn't get there. Luke Reynolds, the tight end, came in, and he's short. Iowa's scoring drive last time they had it was almost all on the ground. And they give inside. Big hole up the middle, and a good cut. Inside the 20, he got 21.
Really good backfield action and great play call by Tim Lester.
Iowa gets right on the ball. Kamari Moulton. And he gets to the 15-yard line. And he is now over 100 yards rushing. He has been the man in their backfield.
Yeah, he has been the man. He does a lot of things right, but what I love about him is his short area quickness, right? When he gets in what we call the Briar pass between the tackles, he has short. Oh, my goodness, what happened there?
The Hawks operating with some pace there. They tried to get him on the toss sweep to the right side. Gronowski sets up a tight end screen. They got inside the 15, about 5 yards short of the first. Hayden Large, with his first touch of the game, gets 7. Snap and holder there, and his field goal attempt is right down the middle.
Here at Iowa. Okay, I like
it. To the ground, big gash inside for Katron Allen. 2 in the backfield. To pass. They swing it out to Allen behind him. Now that was a forward pass. Iowa's going to pick it up, but not a fumble. Brings up third down. 4-man rush. Grunkemeyer going to try for it himself. And he got there. And he has Katron Allen. Allen left side. Good block. Boy, hit. Excellent call there on the good block there, Mike Robb. It sprung him there at the end out to the 45-yard line. And Smolik has been handing off or keeping it himself. There's a keep. And a little muscle at the end. Ball came out. Ball came out. And on the 48-yard line, Penn State got back on it. Xavier Wampa, big hit to jar it loose.
Oh, my goodness, Xavier Wampa. See him getting excited right there. An impact tackle. Quarterbacks, they don't get hit during the week. They definitely get hit in games. You see Jackson Smollett right there. Welcome to the Big Ten, young fella. This Iowa Hawkeye defense. See Kyron Hudson right there on the spot to get the fumble.
Right place, right time for the former Trojan. Terry Smith, interim head coach. We approach the 10-minute mark with his Nittany Lions up 21-19. Ball came out right there as well, but Penn State again gets back on it. Grunkemeyer pounced on the ball. Quick throw. Boy, that did not feel right from the beginning, Mike. Bounced it out there toward Kyron Hudson to bring up third.
Or will they get after the young quarterback and Ethan Grunkemeyer?
Linebacker blitz on the way. Grunkemeyer on the move. Finds his tight end for a first down. Andrew Rappleyea with his first catch, and it was a big one.
Ethan Grunkemeyer using his legs to get out of trouble. Finds Andrew Rappleyea, who's been coming on as a blocker. Just see him with a drag route, getting enough yards for the first down. Big time play by Ethan Grunkemeyer, keeping his eyes downfield, making a play with his legs.
I go back to what he told us during the week, that you'll notice I'm more elusive in the pocket than Drew. His biggest plays today, run and pass, have started with a move in the pocket. Hands off this time, and a good cut by Allen. Gets him across the 35-yard line. Good pickup on first down.
Really good pickup on first down. And first down plays for both of these offenses vitally important, with the fact that that Penn State has a young quarterback and Iowa has a quarterback that hadn't been with them for a very long time. But if you can get great yards on first down, it sets up easier third downs for later on in the drive.
Thinking of set up. Katron Allen told us this week he's been setting up defenders well this week when he gets to the hole.
Yeah.
Did that right there. Second down 4. More Allen. And another first down. Katron Allen.
Physically imposing his will in his Iowa Hawkeye defense.
Pitch it inside to Reynolds, the tight end. Oh. Little shovel pass to the big fella inside the 15. Andy Kotelnicki sees his offense with an 11-play drive. Singleton. And he fights down to the 10. And that's enough for another first down. He keeps it. Grunkemeyer. End zone, incomplete. Up the middle. Allen wrapped up at the 10. Cohen Entringer, the safety on a blitz, keeps that to no gain, and it's 3rd and goal. They've converted 5 of the last 6 on third down. They need a touchdown here. Quarterback drop, drill to the backfield. Cohen Entringer, giant hit for a loss. First attempted field goal on the road this year. Now he's got it. Penn State's offense just came up with a 16-play, 61-yard drive that ended in a field goal. The second half, the Hawkeyes have 88 rushing yards and only 17 passing yards. See what they lead with here. A Gronowski keep, and a good one. He's got room. There goes Gronowski. Inside the 10.
An explosive run from this Iowa Hawkeyes offense.
He's now over 100 yards rushing on the night. And around. Weegin. Speed. Touchdown. Boy, 2-play touchdown drive to see if they can get 2 points here. They'll try it through the air. End zone way too much over the head of Parker.
Lots of trophies.
Gorgeous weather on a Saturday evening here, adding to the enjoyment of Penn State, Iowa. And from 4 yards out, Corey Smith takes it out to the 23-yard line. Gives to Allen, being chased. Brought down from behind right when he crossed the 25-yard line. And that's Jaden Montgomery, middle linebacker, in his 2nd career start, keeping that to a gain of 5. Right back to Allen on the pitch. And picked his way to the 32-yard line, a yard short of the first down. Inside of the yard. Gain of 4. Now, Mike, last time Penn State had the ball, they kept it for 16 plays and 61 yards. They give him the first there. And then it ended with a field goal. They've got the same thing in mind here. Right back on the ball. Allen didn't get much that time. Give him a couple. Montgomery again with the stop.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get back on the football. They didn't know if the spot was going to be challenged or looked at again. They wanted to jump back on the football and make sure they had the first down.
Back to the air, sideline. Dinkins, the tight end, his first touch. And that's a big get. As they move the chains again, Penn State's offense clicking here late.
Really good job by Ethan Grunkemeyer right there, hitting Khalil Dinkins in the flat. Khalil has done a great job all night blocking. He's been playing kind of the second tight end position and blocking for these runners of Penn State.
2-minute timeout's going to get him here. Bottom line, first down and 10 for Penn State. This drive has started well for them. Down 1, 2 minutes left. Back to Allen. Patience does not pay off. Drilled right at the 45-yard line there. Ethan Herkett, defensive end, makes the play. Nittany Lions with all 3 timeouts left. Their field goal kicker, Ryan Barker, has a career long of 49. Grunkemeyer looking. Swings it out wide. Allen bumped out of bounds by Intringer. 3rd and 5. Singleton stood up. And he's got work to do. Montgomery with the stop. Only got 1 to set up a pivotal 4th down. Here comes the blitz. Grunkemeyer in trouble. Floats it. Batted. No flag. From under center, the give to Bolton. 2 hands on the ball, powers his way down to the 46. Penn State uses that timeout, and they'll have 1 left. Gronowski himself up the middle. Just hang on to the ball and hope the seconds tick off. Now the whistles blow. Penn State calls a timeout. Their last one, 1:01 left. Gronowski. Oh, he keeps it, and he's going to end it. That'll do it.
Great play calling. Your quarterback keeps it, goes around the edge, finishes the game, slides. You feel for Terry Smith right there. Look at that fake.
And Gronowski from the victory formation takes a knee. And that will do it. He rushes for 130 yards. And Iowa comes out with a 25-24 win. Penn State loses for a 4th consecutive time. Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes will have 2 consecutive wins in the Big Ten.